Greetings, all Shardvixen, and today is November 18th. I didn't even have to look. And it is Saturday. I don't know if this will post Saturday. I had some things to do on Saturday, so we'll see. And this is Rambling 101, which means I get to just chit-chat and talk to you. We are upstairs in my gaming area because my shoulder hurts really bad. I'm not using a tripod either, so it might have some bounce to it because I'm in my rocking chair. Grammy has a rocking chair. Yoo-hoo-hoo. So I changed my hair color. It's blues and greens. Really what I did was I took a blue and a teal color, aquamarina, and I mixed it together, a dark, like a sapphire blue it's called. And I mixed it together, and I put it all over the rainbow hue hair, which was fading out, and then I get various shades of blue and green. Some purple too, but it's really light, the purple, because the blue's so dark. Or the purple's really dark too, I guess would be the thing, because this is where the pink was. Arctic Fox, if you have that, if it's burning question in your mind, what dye does Grammy use? I use Arctic Fox. Here in Oregon, we buy it at Hot Topic, or you can buy it online. You just Google Arctic Fox. And this is not a sponsor for them. They're absolutely wonderful dyes. They are semi-permanent, so depending on the style of hair that you have, it will stay longer or shorter. Usually, if you're going to use a dye like this, you're going to want to not scrub your hair as much as you would. Technically, for healthy hair, and people don't know this, but research is showing that if you just do a nice cool rinse for like 2 or 3 days, then wash your hair. Now, I know some people have problems with oil, so you can use some oil. There's techniques for leaching the oil out of your hair, and some people like me have really, really dry hair, so a couple of days of just a cool water rinse isn't going to affect me too much, so I can keep my dye in my hair longer. All that you didn't need to know. Which you may hear again. Hair again. You might hear again. You might hear again at some point in time. So one of the rambling things I was going to talk about besides my hair dye was my hair. So I have, this is called a monk's cut because the hair is only on the top. I've had mohawks in the past where the hair comes down like this. I've had, what's that one, everybody always makes it sound, a Moloch, where it's short on top and long in the back. No, mullet, a mullet. And they have such a bad connotation now, a mullet does. You know, it's considered a bad haircut, but at the time it wasn't, you know. David Bowie style with the real short, shaggy hair here and the hair on the end. That's what I had for a while. My first mohawk, I was about 18, 19 years old. Shave the sides, have a mohawk. I loved it. And one time I had a whole face painting that went all the way back into the shaved part of my head. That was really cool. But about 2004, I had really, really long hair, and it's hard to get my hair to grow that long. It's so fine and thin that, you know, the longer it gets, the more it breaks. But I had long hair. It was probably about breast, well, not now because my breasts are moving to my stomach, but probably about mid of my back all the way around. And about 2, 3, let's say, I'd say about 2001, 1999, 2001, I entered a Job Corps program because I had been unemployed for a while, and they paid to have my hair cut, which I cried while they cut my hair. I don't know why, because I cut my hair all the time, but it really bothered me, I guess, to have somebody else cut my hair. So I wore this hair, what they called a professional hairstyle, you know, where you could kind of get away from your face and give a little feminine look to it. I hate words like that because I don't know what a feminine look would look like, except for me. I'm feminine, so isn't my look a feminine look? So About 2004, though, I had this epiphany, which, weird note, I never could say that word for a long time, but I had this epiphany, and I was reading an article about enlightenment, of where this lady left her job. She was a lawyer, big time lawyer, made lots of money, but was really unhappy and was severely depressed, and she went to, like, India. Now, there's a whole bunch of books like that, you know, about elephants and prayers and stuff like that. But she went to India and kind of bummed around India and Malaysia and Philippines, and just bounced around, spent all her money that she'd saved for retirement, I guess. And she was sitting someplace and had her head, decided to shave her head. And she said that it gave her it was like the most manageable way of having a sense of freedom, was to leave behind the gender shackles that we all place on ourselves in the fictional stories we tell, what is male and female. And so I thought about that, and I was like, you know, I really wanted to shave my head. And I never did, because, you know, mohawk was the closest I came, because that was the hair fashion of the time. But I never just shaved my head for the heck of it. And I always liked the look on both male and female shaved head. Just looks kind of cool, and I don't know why, sexy. So I decided to shave my head in 2004. I was pregnant, and I was severely depressed, and I was having a lot of family troubles. So I thought, let's shave our head. Maybe it'll make me feel better. And I'll tell you what, it did. It made me feel better. But here's the funny thing. I shaved my head, and then people wanted to know why. And I was like, why can't I just say I shaved my head because I wanted to? But when I say that, then, you know, it amazes you how many adult people said, maybe you should seek therapy. So I thought, well, I'll think about it. And so I tell the same story. I read about this lady. She had enlightenment, epiphany, and decided to shave her head and see if that, you know, helped her in some way. Because hair is one of the most manageable things you can do. You can cut yourself to feel something. You can take pills, you can drink, you can do all those things, but they're semi-dangerous. But doing your hair however you want, like shaving it or dyeing it or being wild and crazy with one side shaved and one side not, or whatever, or growing it out long and just wearing it in braids with pretty stuff in them, you know, feathers, whatever you want, is the least destructive thing you can do, unless the people you hang around with or where you work or whatever decide that your hair defines who you are. And I know that sounds funny, but people do talk about that. So, yeah, so I shaved my head. Had some weird events go on with that. Kept my head shaved for a year. And then I saw this, I don't know who it was, but I saw some movie star or something had their hair like this. And I thought, that is such a cool looking thing. Because I'd seen it in comic books, but, you know, things in comic books, don't necessarily equate to being great things all the time. So, or work in real life, I guess is a statement there. So then I shaved my head, and then I started growing it out. So first I had just a little flat top going, and then as my hair got longer, I thought, well, I'll do another mohawk. So I did a mohawk for a while down back of my neck, which seemed to be more acceptable for my age, my peers, and my work. They liked the mohawk way better than just the shaved head. I don't know why. And then, I don't know, it got a little long enough at a certain point that I decided I'd shave the back. So I shaved the back, and this is the haircut I've had off and on since 2005. I had to look for work and I had to get into a master's program. I didn't have to, but I wanted to get into a master program. And so I grew my hair out a little bit to make it look a little more just like short, fashionable work kind of thing. So I kept my hair like that for probably about, I don't know, I want to say probably about 2 years in between that. And then around 2000, that was probably about 2010, So 2010, 2013, when I finally graduated from school and decided to go do something, I shaved my head again. Not all the way, I just shaved the sides and kept the long. I moved up here to Oregon in 2014 and again was looking for work, and it was suggested that the haircut was too radical or outrageous, so I kind of trimmed it down into more of a, you know, the short girly look that everyone likes. And then when my shoulders started bothering me and I couldn't do anything anymore, I went back to this hairstyle and have had it this way, and I enjoy it. I like it a lot. So I don't know if I'll ever work again, but if I do, I'll have to figure out if I can find a place that'll accept the hair as it is. But if they don't, you can grow it out a little bit and then cut it as you after they get used to you. But it's kind of funny how much effort, how much we put on how people look. And this is an age-old thing, I know that, and we all know this because we get irritated if people get too fat, or we get irritated if people get too skinny, or if they do some radical change, or they put plugs in their ears, or they get a tattoo, or they put grills in their teeth, or, you know, all the different fashions and things that people have tried. And I think it's just to get a sense of, for me, it was to get more of a sense of who I was and to feel connected. Clothes do that too, you know, people do that with clothes. But I'm amazed about how people will put expectations of what a voice is connected to the kind of person they are. I'm sure people hearing my voice on my videos and then seeing me with my little fox mask still didn't like, oh, that's exactly how I envisioned her. Today, this morning, my face is really bad. I woke up with it bleeding in places because it rubs on the pillow. So that was kind of painful too. Pain is an interesting thing to me. So fibromyalgia, as you know, because I did a vlog on it, so I'm not going to go into it, but they're starting to find out that some cases of it have an actual physical part to it, to somehow make it more legit, I guess. So, because if you get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, basically it means they don't know what's wrong with you, therefore you're like a hypochondriac. That's what they used to tell me. And then after that, they didn't, you know, it was all in my head, which meant it was nicer now because they recognized it was all in my head, I guess, and that they treat it from the brain part. So my medication that I take, sorry for the wiggle, my medication I take is actually mood-altering drugs that just work well on nerve pain. But that makes sense if you think about it, because you can override pain. The human brain has the ability to override pain. If I had to, you could, or I could, or anyone. You can push yourself beyond what you do normally because you have to. I know a lot of people say, no, you can't. If you can't walk, you can't walk. That's probably true. You can't walk, but you would figure out another way to do it, and people have. So, if I had to push through the pain, I would. But it does make you tired to do so. But on the same token, if you're really depressed and you're sick, it just makes you worsely sick, which is interesting too. The brain is an interesting thing. That's why the schooling that I did was because I was interested in how the brain worked. I was interested, it started out, I was interested in how the autistic brain worked. My nephew has autism, and I was interested when he was small why his brain did the things it did. And so I did a lot of studying of that. And went to school to get the piece of paper, said I was smart about it. I believe people should go to school. Everybody should be educated in some way. However you get your information, though, you don't have to go to school and get a piece of paper to be an expert at something. But on the same token, you shouldn't listen to people that have a piece of paper and say they are an expert on something. You have to kind of be able to learn how to think logically about how some of this stuff is being presented and if it seems valid. Now, we all have wild beliefs and wild fictional stories we believe, like those who believe the world's flat and those who believe the world's round, and some people who believe the world only exists as far as you can see it, and which that one kind of makes sense, but on the same token, the internet kind of really waxed that one out. I haven't really talked to anybody who believes that anymore now that the internet's out, because you have people who say they're from some place you can't see. So that's interesting in itself if you believe that way. But there are people who believe that. People who believe that dinosaurs are a conspiracy created by the world's nations to tear down Christian religion. I've met people and talked to them. I've met people that have talked about that science is the work of the devil. I mean, there are all kinds of people out there who have all kinds of beliefs. And I don't believe those things. I really try to rely on science and then try to leave faith as faith. Because you can, for me, it's, you know, I'm a pagan, so I believe it all is real. All of it. Okay, what else has been going on through my mind? Pain. Like I said, pain's been a big issue. Sleep. My sleep patterns are all messed up. So I'm sleeping like till, I want to sleep till like all day and wake up at night. I used to do that when I was younger, but I really can't do that now. I'm thinking I like my new stream schedule. I'm hoping that it works out well for me. I like being in the Geknip Gang. I like meeting all these people and chit-chatting with them. That's kind of nice. It actually helps with that loneliness that I felt before I started doing my YouTube channel. I was extremely lonely, and now I'm not really lonely. So that works out well because I can do my own stuff and then get online and chit-chat with people, and that's nice. I like verbally chatting with them, but it's just as nice to type it all out. I have some idea. I'm going to be starting pretty soon. I don't know quite when. I'm thinking around December, end of December, the beginning of the new year, where I'm going to take one blog slot, and I'm going to start making commentaries on my growing up history. So books that I've read, movies I have seen, poetry I've read, poetry I've written, things like that. And that's what's going to go in there. Now, I have started another channel. It's not even in the works yet, so don't go, oh, I gotta click on that. Don't worry about it. In which I'm going to read some of my stories that I write. And I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out yet, because I want to finish working on Shardvixen's Magnificent channel, which I'm slowly putting stuff together. If you go to my Discord, you can put in a question in the light bulb section, which is the idea section, of questions that you might ask Shardvixen for the Lily and Lloyd. I know I haven't talked about them in a while, but I'm still doing Lily and Lloyd because I need them to kick in gear Stick Baby, because Stick Baby's going to be one of my puppet anime things I'm going to do on Shardvixen's Magnificent channel pretty soon, as soon as I'm done with the Reaper intro, which is, it's probably not going to be intro. I don't know what he's going to use it for, but I told him to use it as a trailer, because it's almost 7 minutes long, I think. No, not 7 minutes. It's almost 7 seconds long. I don't know. I can't be. It's a little longer, but it's going to run probably a good. It won't be 15 minutes because that's way too much work, but it'll probably be a good 10 minutes maybe when I get done. I don't know, because those frames, you have to make them run really fast. They run at like, what would it be, 1/4 of a second for 1 frame. So 4 frames make a second. I think that's what it is. So that's an awful lot of frames. All right, this one's way too long. Rambling ones tend to be way too long because I just chat. I just talk to you. So I'll catch you all on the flip side. I'm out of here. Peace.